Welcome to our webcast on the 9 Steps to Integrated Governance. I am Forrest Breyfogle, President and CEO of Smarter Solutions, a firm that teaches and coaches organizations on how to increase profit and customer satisfaction through the Integrated Enterprise Excellence System. During the next hour, we will be discussing steps need to be taken to effectively compete in today's business climate. We will be discussing the necessity and how to move towards achievement of the 3 R's of business. That is, everyone doing the right things and doing them right at the right time. We will also describe how to create an enterprise-wide culture that does not get hung up in issues that lead to firefighting and inefficiencies. In addition, we will examine how in your present business governance systems, employees can be avoiding responsibility and using presented metrics to hide productivity shortfalls rather than creating and reacting to a true picture of what is really occurring in the business. Finally, we will be exploring refocus employees on the right goals so that the business as a whole benefits. During this session, please text us with your questions so we can address those at the end of this session. Thank you. Now let's move forward. Unfortunately, the current economic climate is pretty depressing. To be competitive, many organizational management governance systems need a major overhaul. In many organizations, this overhaul needs to occur immediately. Why? It's a survival issue. Sarbanes-Oxley, or SOX, was created to address the financial problems created by companies like Enron at the turn of the century. However, SOX did not prevent the financial problems we are currently experiencing. Looks like SOX answered the wrong question to perhaps the 3rd decimal place. We need to create policies that lead to behaviors that benefit the organization as a whole and have controls to maintain satisfactory performance. Note, that is different than trying to inspect quality into the system as SOX tried to do. Presently, organizations set strategic goals, quarterly target, business unit objectives, quotas, bonuses, and incentives for performance. Is this the best thing to do so that the enterprise as a whole benefits? From what we've seen in the current financial crisis, it seems like to me that there are opportunities for improvement in this area. Like a golf course, there are many hazards that business leaders need to confront. A business model that focuses on making the best decisions through leadership intuition is no longer enough. We might like to have business management governance model that has a complexity level equivalent to Who Moved My Cheese. However, that is not sufficient in today's complex competitive world. A management governance system is needed to address the increasing complexity of business and associated risks. What is needed is a management framework that is long-lasting and maintains continuity even though leadership changes. Organizations need a management governance system where a company's success is not so dependent upon the brilliance of a Superman or Superwoman at the top of the organization chart, which can change overnight. University classes teach all sorts of methodologies for goal attainment. However, are CEOs really pleased with the systems that their organizations are using? To answer this question, consider how your CEO would feel about how well their business system handles scorecards, strategic planning, business improvement efforts, and control. CEOs often have issues with one or more of these components of the business. What organizations need is a system which provides a no-nonsense means for integrating and orchestrating the various business aspects that I've just described. What is needed is a structured methodology for providing predictive measurements so that when key measures are not expected to provide desirable business results, a no-nonsense improvement system kicks into place and provides long-lasting system changes that positively impact the metric. A no-nonsense business framework is needed that integrates healthy policy creation and deployment with a no-nonsense blending of scorecards, strategic planning, business improvement, and control. A methodology is needed that blends innovation with analytics and the tools of Lean Six Sigma, not only for project execution, but the business management system as well. In a typical business environment, metrics are often reported as a table of numbers or a pie chart or some other form of bar chart reporting. One thing common in the presentation of these report outs is that they only provide a picture of the past. The stories that typically result from these charts do not make reference to actual improvement activities and provide only a point estimate and comparisons from point to point. Traditional approaches don't systematically consider the enterprise as a system of processes where the Y process output is a function of the X inputs to the system. To achieve long-lasting improvement, one needs a systematic approach to either identify and then adjust key X's or implement a fundamental process improvement enhancement. Short-term management to the enterprise Ys occurs when focus is given to setting arbitrary process output goals along with hold people accountable for achieving the goals with little or no system in place to determine how to improve the X's of the process. This could lead to short-term benefits. However, there can be also very detrimental long-term implications. This process to management could be referenced as management by hope. Effective metrics provide a view of the enterprise as though it is a system of processes that provide decision-making insight from an enterprise point of view. This insight needs to lead to the most appropriate conclusions and actions or non-actions for the enterprise as a whole. A few characteristics of these metrics is that they address a true business need and provide an honest assessment. We also want performance metrics to be actionable, time series, and predictive. Effective metrics must view the enterprise as a system of processes, including marketing, sales, and so on. It is at this level you should be able to acknowledge the effective variability within these processes, giving you a clear picture of your enterprise as a whole. There are a number of issues with traditional metrics, but one is that at the top of the list is a fiscal goal can be muddled and may not be easily understood by the person at the implementation level. Also, over the years, managers have often been forced to understand their departments not in terms of income and cost, but variances and percentage to goals that can have little relationship to reality. This has led managers to nudging up and down certain activities to present a better picture of their operation, even if that meant damaging the real business interest as a whole. The output of our enterprise are a function of the whole system, not just individual processes. When we view our enterprise as a whole, we realize that the output is a function of the weakest link. This weakened link is the constraint. In our process improvement efforts, care must be exercised so that we focus on improvements that impact the overall system. For this to occur, an enterprise solution is needed to identify critical constraints so that projects can be targeted so that their completion benefits the enterprise as a whole. The recent meltdown of the financial services, auto production, home building, and other industries have not left the rest of us feeling very good about our current business systems. Sarbanes-Oxley added much additional burden and expense to the accounting system, but still did not eliminate the shifting of numbers that can create a very misleading picture, as we're now experiencing in our economy. Integrated Enterprise Excellence, or IEEE, is a sustainable business management governance system which addresses the previously described issues and needs. IEEE integrates scorecards, strategic planning, process improvement, and control so that organizations can move towards achieving the 3 R's of business. Again, everyone doing the right things and doing them right at the right time. IEEE provides a framework for innovation and continual improvement which goes beyond Lean Six Sigma's project-based defect and waste reduction methodology. Both large and small organizations can benefit from IEEE's 9-step execution system, which we will describe on the next slide. IEEE techniques apply both for small and large organizations that are for-profit and nonprofit, and governments as well. IEEE provides a start small and grow big deployment opportunity. Large organizations can start in one part of their business and then replicate this developed system to other business areas. In businesses, strategies are often created as step 1 in their business system, where organization work is to align to these strategies. Operational goals are then typically assigned to functions throughout the organization where there is a tracking system that assesses how well these goals are being met. This common practice can sound quite attractive, but can this system lead to unhealthy behaviors? To answer this question, consider the following. An organization can spend much time creating a strategic plan, perhaps an executive tree. However, people throughout the organization often have difficulty interpreting what should be done specifically to address these strategically aligned goals as they are passed down throughout the organization. In his book, Good to Great, Jim Collins describes a level 5 leader as someone who is not only great when he or she is leading an organization, but the organization maintains greatness after the leadership is no longer there. I describe the level 5 leader created legacy as a level 5 system. Do you think your organization's strategy would change if there were a different leadership? A vast majority would respond yes to this question. Because of this, it would seem to me that it would be very difficult for an organization to create a level 5 system when the primary guiding light for the organization is its strategy, which can change with new leadership. To create a level 5 system, organizations need to have stability at the front end of the business system, even though leadership changes. The IEEE 9-step system provides this front-end foundation in steps 1 and 2. Strategies are important and need to be created through a wise blending of analytics with innovation. IEEE addresses this by creating strategies in step 5 of this 9-step process. Let's now walk through this 9-step IEEE system. Step 1 is to describe vision and mission. A vision statement outlines what the organization wants to be in the future and a source for inspiration. A mission statement describes the primarily organizational purpose. Mission and vision statements are the foundation for an organization's building. Step 2 is describe the value chain, including satellite level and 30,000-foot level metrics, where this form of high-level system tracking has no calendar constraints, as described later. All steps in this 9-step process are very important. However, I will spend more time describing this step since the techniques in this portion of the 9-step process may be new to some viewers. In many businesses today, the enterprise value chain is not viewed as a system of non-siloed processes with performance metrics. Instead, organizations often report status numbers for how things are going every week, month, or quarter. The shortcomings of this performance metric assessment can be fatal. The IEE value chain describes what enterprise does and its performance measures of success from a customer and business point of view. The organization chart needs to be subordinate to the value chain. The next few slides describe the building of a value chain from this initial steps shown in this slide. The basic value chain steps need to include significant inputs and outputs that are important to the business as a whole. Activities that are not in the main value chain flow are to be included as standalone functions. Value chain's functions can be drilled down to include procedural processes for all areas of the business. This drill down can be set up so that there are web-based access by everyone who has authorization to the procedural information. In IEE, metrics are to have alignment to how the business is conducted. This is in contrast to creating a metrics around the organization chart, which can significantly change over time. It is important to not only determine what should be measured, but also have a reporting methodology that is most beneficial to the business as a whole. Before elaborating more on IEE Step 2, let's examine how metrics are often traditionally reported. Traditional scorecards such as a table of numbers, stacked bar charts, balanced scorecards, and the red, yellow, green report outs describe what has occurred in the past for some time interval, but does not make a predictive statement. What is needed is organizational predictive metric statements that can be viewed collectively so that if the predicted metric future performance is not what is desired, an improvement project can be created. I call this performance metric improvement need a pull for process improvement project creation. This approach is in contrast to leadership brainstorming for projects that someone is to work on, for example, during a training session next week. I call this traditional Lean Six Sigma deployment approach a push for project creation. The red, yellow, green scorecard in this slide is from a corporation's actual scorecard system. One might chuckle at the statement on this slide, red and yellow green scorecards can result in counterproductive initiative, 24/7 firefighting, the blame game, and proliferations of fanciful stories why goals were not met. It is unfortunate, but this statement describes what often happens in organizations. In addition, these scorecards tell us nothing about the future. Let's now re-examine step 2 further. This slide might initially look very complex, but please hang in there as I walk through the process. In this slide, the previously presented red, yellow, green scorecard will be compared to an IEE 30,000-foot level scorecard system. The IEE metric system has 2 steps. The first step of this process is to analyze for predictability. The second step is the formulation of a prediction statement when the process is considered predictable. To determine predictability, the process is assessed for statistical stability using a 30,000-foot level individual's control chart, which can detect if the process response has changed over time and is stable. A process's output could have been stable for the last 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years. We can determine this region of stability by examining a 30,000-foot level control chart. Data from the last region of stability can be considered a random sample of the future. For this example, note how the 30,000-foot level chart indicates that nothing has changed, even though the metric frequently went or transitioned between red, yellow, and green. For the traditional scorecard, the performance level was red 5 out of the 13 recorded times. Shown in this slide is a probability plot that can be used to make a prediction statement. For those new to a probability plotting, this chart can look very complicated, but is not. If you bear with me through this explanation, I believe that you too will agree with the power of probability plotting. Much can be learned about a process through a probability plot. The x-axis in this probability plot is the magnitude of a process response, while the y-axis is percent less than. A very important advantage of probability plotting is that data do not need to be normally distributed for a prediction statement to be made. The y-axis scale is dependent upon the distribution type, for example, normal or log normal distribution. If the data closely follows a straight line, we then believe that the data are from the distribution that is represented by the probability plot coordinate system. Estimated population percentages below a specification limit can be made by simply examining the y-axis percentage value as shown in the slide. For this case, we estimate that about 33% of the time now and in the future, we will be below our 2.2 criterion specification, our goal. There is a certain amount of technical training needed to create a 30,000-foot level metrics. However, the interpretation of this chart is quite simple. In IEEE, a box should be included below the chart that makes a statement about the process. For this chart, we can say that the process is predictable with an approximate nonconformance rate of 32.8%. That is, using the current process, the metric response would be below 2.2 about 1/3 of the time. As a policy, red, yellow, green versus IEEE reporting can lead to very different behaviors. For example, a red, yellow, green reporting policy would lead to firefighting about 1/3 of the time, because every time the metric turned red, management would be asking the question, what just occurred? Our performance level is now red. With IEEE performance metric reporting, we understand that variation in this example is from common cause process variability, and that the only way to improve performance is through improving the process itself. With IEEE, someone would be assigned to work on improving the process that is associated with this metric, assuming that this metric improvement is where we should be focused on our efforts now relative to business performance as a whole. In organizations, the IEEE value chain functions and metrics maintain basic continuity through acquisition change. The IEEE value chain can become the long-lasting front end of Jim Collins' Level 5 system. Let's now move on to step 3, analyze the enterprise. In this system, the enterprise is analyzed as a whole, looking for improvement opportunities in the area of constraints, defect reduction, waste elimination, new product developments, and other business performance issues. This evaluation might be considered as Business 101. However, often traditional business analyses do not structurally blend as a formal process analytics with 30,000-foot level value chain metrics and risk assessments like IEE does. Step 4, establish financial goals for corporate and operational units. IEE financial metrics are tracked at the satellite level financial metrics that are not bounded by calendar year. And IEE's enterprise satellite level metrics could be profit margins and annualized gross rate. Revenue goals are to be SMART, that is specific, measurable, actionable, relevant, and time-based. In addition, financial goals need to be realistic and consistent with improvement opportunities. Step 5, create strategies. Develop strategies to improve performance when operational metrics are not achieving financially established goals for operational and corporate units. Focus needs to be given to creating strategies that are specific and benefit the big picture. Effective blending of analytics with innovation can result in strategies that significantly benefit the enterprise as a whole. Step 6, identify high potential improvement areas. Use analytics at the enterprise level to determine areas that offer the most opportunity for improvement, where there is an alignment to the created strategies. An example, a strategy for improvement profitability might be decrease in 7 months the defective rate by 25% from its current levels, where there is an owner for this metric and its goal. Step 7, identify and execute projects. Performance 30,000-foot level goals create a pull for the creation of well-scoped projects in the high potential areas of the business. Project execution is to follow a well-defined, define, measure, analyze, improve, control, or DMAIC roadmap that blends Lean Six Sigma tools so that the most appropriate tool is used at the right time. The DMAIC system is shown in the center portion of this graphic. As noted in the previous slide, the improvement project follows a DMAIC roadmap execution where Lean and Six Sigma tools are truly integrated. Step 8, assess project's completion impact on enterprise goal. Each project will be judged against how well it positively impacts the operational level metric performance. The impact of projects are to be collectively assessed against corporate level metrics. Step 9, maintain the gain. Value chain metrics are to be a part of the company-wide management review meetings for assessing of day-to-day performance and project execution. A control plan can be used to document key required activities to maintain the gains for both manufacturing and traditional process or transactional processes. Okay, that completes the 9-step process. I thought I'd throw this slide in also. This slide presents the IEE roadmap in somewhat of a different format. Note how in this graphic how the first 2 steps at the top of the graphic are outside of the overall loop and are to maintain fundamental stability over time. That is a level 5 system foundation. The American Management Association described the IEE system in a fall 2008 Emerald article, which is available for downloading at smartersolutions.com. Now, the 9-step previously described system represents the overall thought process of the Integrated Enterprise Excellence System. In IEEE, the described 9 steps are executed using an enterprise process, the MAKE or E to MAKE roadmap. The designations for the steps of the system has the same DMAKE designation as the classical project execution roadmap in Lean Six Sigma deployments. However, drill downs of these steps are quite different. In IEEE, the project DMAKE roadmap is designated as P to MAKE. This slide was showed previously, but I wanted to highlight this slide again to illustrate how the IEEE roadmaps fit together and provides a means for implementing the 9-step business governance system process. The previous slide showed some of the highlights of the E to MAKE system, which is the center portion of this graphic. Note how the improve phase of the E to MAKE system can either pull for the creation of a design or improvement project. The improvement project roadmap, as shown in the lower half of the slide, follows a P to MAKE project execution where Lean and Six Sigma tools are truly integrated for efficiently and effectively improving the process to address the 30,000 improvement metric needs. I have authored or co-authored 11 books. In 2008, an IEEE 4-book volume set was published. I believe that the subtitle of the black-covered paperback book provides a good net-out description of IEEE. This book's title, or main title, is The Integrated Enterprise Excellence System. Its subtitle is An Enhanced Unified Approach to Balanced Scorecards, Strategic Planning, and Business Improvement. I believe that this subtitle, again, describes what IEEE is about. This book gives a high-level description of traditional scorecards and business methodologies with their issues and resolution. Volume 1 of this 4-book volume series provides another high-level view of IEEE. This book is written as a novel. Volume 2 sequences through the E to MAKE roadmap, while Volume 3 sequences through the P to MAKE roadmap. The IEEE system builds upon past systems. IEEE provides the alignment and blending of the enterprise value chain functional steps with operational metrics. The IEEE system provides for the creation and presentation of IEEE metrics that get organizations out of the firefighting mode while providing insight synthesis and graphical representation of data. The IEEE system also provides better ways to use conventional tools for improved decision-making at the enterprise level, which among other things provides predictability and performance forecast assessments. The IEEE roadmap at both the enterprise and project execution level provides step-by-step direction for improving performance. This webinar provided illustrations of some things that have not gone well in business and an alternative IEEE system that addresses these issues. Thank you for participating in this session. We hope that you feel that your investment time was beneficial. Looks like we didn't have any questions for this session, so I guess we'll wrap it up. More information about IEEE and its implementation can be found in our training and articles, which can be downloaded from our online resource library. As noted earlier, the roadmaps for IEEE implementation is documented in a new suite of books which highlights common business system issues and presents the 21st century business governance system of IEEE. Thank you.